Gadgetzan, where the gangs rule the streets.
So far, 84 cards been revealed out of 132, which is quite a bit actually. Let's see what cards I haven't gone over. The Cabal Chemist. But I just realized it's 3/3/4 mana. That's a lot of tempo loss. It has good value. It's really strong, powerful. But may not have enough of value to play it. Or tempo. So in heavy control decks, I think you can see one being played. I would actually definitely give this a try in Kazaku's Reno Mage deck or Reno Warlock deck. Don't know about the Priest since they have a bunch of heals and they don't really synergize with the Reno too well. In the Black Pode, Battlecry and Death Rattle, summon a Jade Golem. The 6 mana 5/3 for make this to work, you have to get 3/3 out. A 2/2 out with this 6 mana 5/3 is not even compared to Cairn or Sylvanas. You have to get the 3/3, at least 3 other Jade Golems before the, well, two other Jade Golems. But then if each Jade Golem costs 2 extra mana, never mind the Jade Spirit that costs 3 extra mana, this one I would say is worth the 5/3. You want to play it for like 3 mana, not even 4. It's not worth it. 2.5 mana. So let's say each Jade Golem is worth the 2.5 mana, 2.5 extra mana for every Jade, it's a little too heavy. It's gonna be really good against control decks, but against mid-range decks, you're gonna lose tempo so fast, and probably get smashed down. Even against a standard Druid, I can't really see this making out. But like I said, if there's like one cheap Jade Golem card in the expansion that has not been told to us, then I think the card actually that could work. Perhaps another actually too, because you can always return your Jade Golem back to, or Jade Spear, whatever. If there's a 2-drop Jade Golem card, it doesn't really matter. It could be 1/1. If it's a 2-drop, 1/1 and 1/1 itself is worth it, and it can return that back to your hand and play it again, and then it's 2 mana, 1/1 and 2/2. And then after that, it's everything, every Jade Golem you play after that point is going to be worth it or more. I would say the 1.5 mana will make Jade Golem very viable in competitive scene. 2 mana is pushing a little bit. 2.5 mana is definitely not worth it, in my opinion, with the cards I see right now. But like I said, if there's a 1 Jade card that costs like 1 mana, 1/1, Jade Golem, although it's just 1, that will make the Jade Golem viable. Because it let you play that early game. And if the Jade Golem is the mid-range to have the control deck only and has no way to deal with the early game, actually, I wonder how the meta's gonna go, because the current cards that so far, like first 50 cards I've seen so far, completely counters the aggro meta. Think about the Dragon Priest, it kills aggro so hard. 6 mana, board clear. Except your minions. Like, what? So first like 50 cards, I thought they were only gonna release cards against the aggro meta, because right now we're in aggro meta, and those decks are gonna be actually dominating the early scene. However, then I saw cards that actually is mid-range and kills the control decks, and now Jade is just control deck that dies to mid-range but kills the other control decks, perhaps if there's a few other Jade Golems and becomes strong enough. So, yeah, Jade series, I really hope they actually don't show Jade series in Arena, because it's not going to be worth it, and it's just going to be a bad draw. It's like, remember they removed a few cards in Arena just for Arena, and that's because those cards were too inconsistent and very bad, and lowered the quality of the deck building process if they show up. So I really hope they actually do it with the cards I'm seeing so far. If there's like 3 other Jade Golem cards, all cost 2 extra mana, then probably actually could be worth it. Because there's just so many overwhelming by turn 4. You play 1 turn 1, you play 1 turn 2, you play 1 turn 3. It doesn't really matter how much it extra it costs. It's gonna be overwhelming enough. By turn 4, you get the 4/4 Jade Spirit and 2/3 Jade Spirit. 4/4 Jade Golem and 2/3 Jade Spirit. Turn 5, you get, well, turn 6, I guess. Turn 6, you get 5/5 and 5/3 for 6 mana. And when it dies, it summons another 6/6. Jesus, that's gonna be way too strong. So Jade Golem obviously won't be happening for every turn, but it's just that odds are a little too low to show up in Arena. Very bad in Arena. In Constructed, we'll see. Knuckles, 5 mana, 3/7. if after this attacks like minion, it also hits enemy hero. So this card is a complete counter to aggro decks, because most aggro cards actually don't have 3 health, most of them. And if it has 3 health, you can always just go with just throw extra cards or 2 that helps 3 attack minion, like Abusive Sergeant. And if it also hits the enemy hero, it also puts some pressure to the opponent to kill it, because it says after this attacks, not the after it gets attacked or deals damage. So if you kill it, you don't take damage. The life obviously is a resource, so this is not just 5 mana 3/7, but also beast you can Houndmaster. There's tons of things you can do with the Knuckles. It also actually is a very strong card to be played along with the Ram Wrangler, which seems like nobody plays Ram Wrangler these days, but like cards like this could bring it back, man. I would give this card a 4 out of 5, or should I go with out of 10? I will give this card 8 out of 10. I will see this card in Constructed, likely. In current meta, if the meta moves on to the mid-range decks, whereas the mid-range cards have 5 health-ish, and this card has to attack that twice unless on monsters, then it's not worth it, in my opinion. The next, the Rat Pack. That will summon a number of 1/1 rats equal to this minion's attack. So, there are actually a few debuff cards that I see that are like the potion that the priests now have. Could lower its attack. And the thing about Rat Pack is that it's a death rattle, so you can't just hit it and remove it. But then you want to save this Rat Pack. You probably want to have some sort of a stealth or a saving or taunt mechanism to save the cards to buff it. But then if it dies as the 3 mana 2/2 and the 2 1/1s, it's actually not that bad, assuming they're all beasts and you can make actually things useful with the beast synergy. I will say this is a very strong card. There are few opportunities that your opponent is forced to kill this, considering this can actually summon a bunch of 1/1s, like 4 1/1s. We don't even know. And we don't actually have a Hunter cards and 3 drop. Alright, there's a lot of 3 mana cards in Hunter. And I don't know if this card is going to be worth it over Animal Companion. However, there is no 3 drop besides Animal Companion, minion-wise, that you want to play on turn 3. There is a 4 mana 3/3 that summons 1/1 minions, which is pretty annoying. Then everyone plays it, unless they're not playing mid-range Hunter. If they're going face, they don't play it. There's a 2 mana 1/1 that summons a 3/2, which is also pretty annoying. Another cards, the Hunter is just becoming a Death Rattle deck now. It's gonna make those Death Rattle Hunter pretty strong once again. And also is a card you can put up with the Barnes, however, it's only 1/1 and 1/1, so it's not that strong with the Barnes. But you can buff it with cards like Abusive. We'll see. Next, Ink Master Solia. If your black cast no duplicates, next spell you cast is turn cost 0. This is actually quite amazing card to combo with the other, I would say no duplicate cards, or should I call it Reno synergy cards. So, if you have Kazkosa and Ink Master Solia, this is a way strong combo. I think it's equivalent to the Leroy Powerwhelming Faceless combo. For 7 mana, I would say you probably need to play like 3 mana spell is granted. You need to have at least 3 mana spell in your hand to make it worth. However, anything over 4 mana or more, like if you can play this for 7 mana and play fine, well, I'd say this is worth it. So conditions for this card is actually very limited, since a lot of Reno, I would say Reno-ish. The no duplicate spells have low cost, like, do they actually? Yeah, no, they don't. A lot of them have 3. And 3 mana is not going to be worth it, actually, so that's what I'm saying. So not a lot of them has a 4 attack or more, unless there's more more spells coming out. All the potions included, by the way. Because the cards you have to play, compared to the other 7 mana, cards you can play instead of this is just way too strong. Like, Antonidas. The 7 mana 5/7 your opponent has to kill it. It's the Antonidas, unless it's a win condition, work like it's a taunt 5/7. Plus, if you have cheap spells in your hand, you just get just a bunch of fireballs. So it's all good. I'm really excited. Like they're bipolarizing the meta here. This deck will be so strong if played. It's like the current Reno Warlock, but then potentially so much higher. Although in average it might not, because the potential is just Oh my god, this deck has so much potential. If it brings all the potential, it's gonna win the BlizzCon. There's no deck beats this. Is the rank, is the how powerful this deck could be. But I don't know if it actually will be, because all the cards have such a high cost, and you need some good early low mana cost to survive the early, and especially meta right now is pretty aggressive. The next, Cabal Crystal Runner, costs 2 less for each secret you play this game. People say this card is way too slow, but I actually don't agree with that. This 2 less for each secret you play this game means that even if you play one secret, I would say Mirror Entity and this card combined can very well be worth it, since there's gonna have a lot of cards that just... Or Effigy, I would say. Effigy, Mirror Entity, and Cabal Crystal Runner will be 3 secret cards that I will personally play in my secret mage deck when it comes out. And 4 mana 5/5 is very strong enough cards. And even if this gets returned back to your hand with the cards like Sam, I would say this card will still cost less. So I think this card is pretty good. Secret, after your opponent plays transform it into 1/1 ship. So, there's actually pressure in against the secret mage deck. Whenever your opponent plays a secret and you know you're going against secret mage deck, you really don't want to play heavy costing cards because Mirror Entity are ready, and this just plays around it. If your opponent is playing, the more and more of these secrets are actually anti-control, not necessarily or mid-range, I guess. Secret mage is pretty good against mid-range cards, actually. Control decks actually might be able to just skip armor up, tank up, yeah! I don't play anything. So far it seems so weak versus aggro, though, because there's no tempo benefit for playing Mirror Entity or Potion of Polymorph against the aggro deck, so... we'll have to see how meta slows down to see this card come to rotation, but it's a very, very powerful potential card. Once again, just like the all other cards that I'm going over right now, like Ink Master Salia or Kazakus, Cabal Crystal Runner, all potentially very strong cards. By itself, if there is the one I see right now, right now, I wouldn't play it, because the fact that it's a secret makes your opponent play the smallest thing they have first. Even if they're playing control and they have Armor Smith, they'll play that instead of any other cards that he has. Even that will even play the Acolyte of Pain, actually. That's pretty good. Cabal Lucky, a Battlecry. The next secret you play this turn costs 0. I actually am not a fan of this particular card, although it seems it has so much potential, but you don't want to play Effigy with this. You only want to play cards like the Mirror Entity counterspell, or even the Potion of Polymer, but then all of them just they're counterintuitive. They're not going to play heavy cards once you play this card. But then Cabal Lucky is not strong enough by itself to pressure your opponent to play a strong card. They can just armor up and pass a turn. So unless your secret deck have all other mid-range minions that actually can put pressure against your opponent, this card is not worth it. I'd like to see another secret that actually can help you mid-range or early game. But otherwise, the secret deck will... This card is a very awkward, actually. But then it has so much value, potentially. But it's just that you have to play this turn. And your hand becomes so small after you play 1 mana and 3 mana cards, even if you play on turn 1. Reset the Chain! The Battlecry, if your deck has no duplicates, your hero power cost is 0 this game. Your hero power costs 0 this game. Your opponent has to kill this, but it doesn't really have that much power. Like 5 mana 5/5 is pretty weak. This card really doesn't have any value. Oh wait! Oh, it's a Battlecry! Holy shit! There was a continual effect. Yo. Holy! Oh my god! All right, restart, refresh that, scratch that. Holy crap! Alright, rest of the change. Holy crap, I'm excited for this card. If your deck has no duplicate, if you play this card, your deck is not gonna have any duplicate, obviously. Your hero power costs 0 this game. Whoa! I love this card, man. I love this card. I like, man. This is the card the priest needed. 5/5 is can be easily removed, but it's only 5 mana you're investing for. I would say whenever you play this card, especially if your hero power costs 0 and you can play it every single turn. Obviously, you play it every single turn if it costs 0, unless you're in the matter of death or life next turn or 2. This card itself is worth it. Each hero power, I would say, is worth 1 mana. And this turn, it becomes 4 mana 5/5, which is okay. And then next turn, it becomes 3 mana 5/5, and turn and beyond, and goes on. This card will make your control deck come to fruition. And it's really difficult for Priest actually to make control deck work, because they got no mid-range minion. This actually helps on that too. There is like the Revive Priest, which, if your opponent don't really kill anything and do anything, they can just play a bunch of minions and overwhelm you if you play that. And that is one of the strongest control priest cards. It's too slow also, by the way. And cards like this could turn that around, because it has the value, it has the tempo. Like it. 10, I will play this card 10 out of 10 if I play priest, Reno priest with a Reza. Next, Mana Jude, or Geode. I don't actually know. I'm sorry, I'm Asian. Whenever this minion is healed, summon it to Crystal, which is a very, very powerful tool. So I wonder if you can combo this card with the Pyromancer. Yes, you can. And this card actually doesn't it needs extra cards to make things work, but the 2 mana 2/3 is strong enough. It's not as good as the 1/4 taunt, obviously, for dragons, but your opponent is forced to kill it, and you can actually play this. You don't want to play this card mid-range or mid-game, but you can play this card on turn 2 or turn like 5 to 7 afterward. So it actually is strong enough, like especially if you have cards like Rosetta Chain, then you can like Pyromancer, Mana Geoside, Coin heal it. Oh man, that'll be a beautiful combo. It's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna help your like the deck value at the mid range that Priest lack mostly. They have very good, very late game card. They have a good, very early game card. They just lack something between. And the Rosetta Chain, the Mana Geode could help this a lot. But once again, the 2 mana 2/3 for Priest nowadays are not really, it is obsolete. No one plays it because it doesn't have enough value. But this one, I think it might have enough value if you have things like Circle of Healings, Pyromancer. Yeah, the combo with the other cards potential is such a huge. You can just play like 3 cards and fill the board up with a bunch of 2 attack minions, and it could be good. We'll see. I like it. Abyssal Enforcer, Battlecry, dealt 3 damage to all other characters. The 6 mana 7/7, this is one of the mid-range cards that the Reno Warlock actually make a very good use of. It's a Hellfire and the 6/6. People already play Hellfire. Good enough. And if you can get the 6/6 on top of the Hellfire for 3 extra mana, I would say this is very worth it. Also Demon, so I can actually have a very good synergy with the other cards. So this is another board clear option. Like I don't know if you want to play this card as just regular control-ish, the handlock even, because cards that it's too heavy, but it gives you a late game opportunity to clear the board. It's extra board clear that Reno Lock don't have, because they only have a Hellfire, Shadow Flame, and Demon Wrath. If you play the Hellfire and your opponent plays a bunch of 3/3s with the Pharaoh Spirits and everything, you better hope that you have the 8 mana board clear, which is the Twisting Nether. This gives a really actually good mid-range, like something between it. I always felt that the Warlocks needed to could use just one extra the removal. And instead of a Demon Wrath, then it's pretty obsolete and not. It's pretty useless in my opinion. You only use it against like Zoo and Shaman, and if they have Pharaoh Spirit, it doesn't kill them either. So it doesn't help that greatly. And this card is gonna help greatly on that in regard. Against aggro at least, and mid-range. So I wanna give this card 4 out of 5, obviously. It's not the top of the line impactful cards, but it's very strong. The Madame Goya, 6 mana 4/3, choose a friendly minion, swap it with a minion in your attack. I don't know if you can, if it doesn't say choose a minion in your deck, it just says choose a friendly minion. So if it swaps it with the random minion in your deck, it's not going to be so good, because you have to have you're likely to have the strong enough cards on board to survive a turn before you can play this card, because this card is very heavy. Or you have a very swarmy deck, and then you play this on however many cards that you have. So let's say in Zoo deck, if you can pick Doomguard and you just pick random 1/1, this card is so powerful. And it doesn't even use the battle cry the Doomguard has. However, if it's just random, what are you gonna do? Just play Sylvanas and I hope it swaps with the Deathwing, right? This card has so much randomness and powerful, but it lacks consistency by a large margin. I'm guessing it's a random. It's probably very likely random. And also, if you're playing this in constructed deck where you'd like to have a bunch of 2s and 3s to just make the deck more consistent, not worth it. The Leader Clad the Hawk Leader. The battle cry for opponent has a 6 or more cards, gain charge. This card is 6 mana, 6/6, an anti-control mid-range card. Very powerful. This card will clear the control decks out of the meta if control becomes a thing. It's that powerful, almost alone. Against 5/5 against control meta. Yes, 5/5. First 5/5 out of the older card reviews, actually. And against a non-control meta, I would say this card is like 2 out of 5, actually. The charge is actually dead powerful, man. Another card to get over, Toxic Zero, is remove 1 durability from your opponent weapon. So there has been few cards that have multiple durability in Hearthstone, and they are very all not worth it. Let's be honest, they're pretty bad and slow. With the exception of the one that can attack infinite time this turn, except that it has 4 durabilities, and you take a bunch of damage. The most cards just have the 1 durability weapon after you attack first. Let's think about Fireworks, Deadly Poison, with the Assassin's Blade no one plays. That's a pretty good card that has 4 charges, but it's too slow, right? So Toxic Ooze is a counter to those cards and has good enough value. 4 mana, well, 3 mana, 4/3. It's like Ooze. And Ooze is kind of awkward actually by itself. It's 2 mana, so what do? Like, your opponent plays equips of Fireworks, turn 2, pass the turn, turn 3, Toxic Ooze. Could fit in better for cards like the Reno Warlock, especially if you have a Shadow Flame with this card, for example. The 3 mana Shadow Flame is not worth it, but 4 mana Shadow Flame is definitely worth playing. So I'll actually swap this card with the Acidic Swamp Ooze in current version of the Reno Warlock deck that everyone plays, the Swamp Ooze. 2 mana weapon removal. So 4 out of 5, for that matter. I actually would not play Toxic Ooze against the Shamans, because Shamans, the Shaman is the only class with a 3 durability that everyone plays, like Spirit Claw. And it also has a 3 attack, which kills the Ooze if you, let's say, your opponent plays the Spirit Claw and then attack first turn, and then you play Ooze to remove the 1 durability, and then it can still kill the Ooze. So that's actually not good. However, I feel like a lot of cards right now is designed to just kill Shamans. A lot of 3 AoE, 3 damage AoE, a lot of 5 damage AoE. These are, like, think about the Dragon Potion that deals 5 damage AoE. It completely board clears everything Shaman has except for 3/1 they're gonna have left over. So, assuming the Shaman's gonna be weak next expansion, so far with the cards I see, I don't think the Shaman will be that powerful. At least in new meta. If I'm right, I could be wrong, obviously.